If I ever took a loss, I learned a lesson. I won't ever think I'm better than the next man. I've been down before to come up, I ain't stressing. Baby, I'm too busy counting all these blessings.
What's happening, world? I just want to thank you, everybody, for tuning in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, the only station giving you double the information and the inspiration. You're now listening to the MTB Radio Show, and I am your host, MTB. That's Minister T Breeze, and we're going to have a brief topic that we're going to talk about today. We're going to deal with the church just for a little bit. We're going to deal with why you or people that you don't know, people that you do know, why they do not attend church. And speaking of churches, this particular segment is being brought to you by a great church, Abundant Life Ministries of Gastonia, under the direction of Pastor Terrence Austin and Pastor Janicia Austin at 1910 East Ozark Avenue in Gastonia, North Carolina, where we're living life elevated at Abundant Life Ministries. Also, Abundant Life Ministries will be celebrating their church and pastoral anniversary on July the 30th, 2017. Worship services start at 8 a.m. Abundant Life Ministries of Gastonia. So dealing with our topic today, I put the question out there. I asked a few people, I said, why do you, or people that you know, why do people not attend church? Why are people not as interested in going to church as they once were? And I got a lot of good feedback. I got some information from people who are attendees of churches and people who themselves at one point were not attending a church or a group for fellowship. And I'm also got some conversation from people who still are not attending churches. And one of the biggest things that I found out is that people are hurt. People have been through issues concerning the organization of the church. And it's been, hurtful when you're dealing with a person or persons who misuse or people who abuse the good name of the church. One particular person made the comment. They said, I stopped going to church because there was too much going on in the church. Now, they didn't elaborate and go into a lot of detail, but I assume that it was some messiness going on. And we all know, if you ever attended a church anywhere, at some point, messiness does come about. But that's part of us being human. That's part of us being individuals. Sometimes people can't mind their business. Sometimes people give too much information. Sometimes people are just nosy. It's several different things going on. But I assume that this person that commented said, I just stopped going to church because it was too much going on. And a lot of times when people bring in those side conversations, a lot of time when people bring in extra stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with God, it can be a distraction. Because think about it. If you're a person who goes to attend church and you have a legit need, that requires spiritual healing, spiritual guidance, and you're looking for something, and you're looking for God to open the door and show you some direction. You're looking from leadership, from pastors and deacons and ministers and leaders in the church. But we can't get to the point to where we're truly being healed, to where we're truly being great spiritual advisors, because there's so much messiness going on. There's so much gossip going on. There's so much he said, she said type of stuff going on. And it can be very distracting. So for a person who's not a regular church attendee, for a person who seriously has gone through a life crisis situation and they've shown up at the church looking for help, and the only thing they get is mess and people just, all out of order, it can be very disheartening. So people don't want to return to the church because, when you deal with situations like that, people assume that every church is the same. Every church is not the same. Every church doesn't have messy members. Every church doesn't have a bunch of gossip going on. Things do take place here and there, but every single church is not the same. But when one church is out of order, when you make that one bad impression on a person, people are under the impression that all churches are the same, that all pastors, all leaders are involved in messiness. So it becomes disheartening when people look to the church for help. This same person also shared with me that in light of, too much going on, the messiness, I'm assuming is what they're referring to, that this person was bringing their kids, and their kids were confused about what was going on, as well as this person was confused about what was going on. So not only is the adult confused, but the children are confused. And anytime you're in a situation where you're confused, you're not getting fed, you're not getting what you need from the word, you're not getting that spiritual guidance that you're seeking, because that's why we come to church, for spiritual guidance, for encouragement, to fellowship with the brothers and sisters. And when you're not getting that, and it becomes confusion, when confusion sets in, people just give up on church altogether. Because if something's going to be confusing to you, why would I even take my time? Why would I even waste my time to participate in something that's not going to benefit me? Or in this case, something that's not going to benefit my family. Why would I subject my family to confusion? Why would I bring confusion into my life? Why would I take confusion from the church and bring that confusion home? If we're not getting fed spiritually, why would we even take the time to put up with church? So that's just a little start off of what we're going to be talking about today. You know, the question is, why do you or people that you know do not attend church? We'll be right back after this brief commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to continue our discussion. You are listening to MTB Radio. I'm your host, MTB, and you're tuned in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, the only station giving you double the information and the inspiration. We'll be right back after this break.
Wash me through and through. Create in me a clean heart, so that I may worship you. Change me, oh God. Make me more like you. Change me, oh God. Wash me through and through. Just create in me a clean heart.
Welcome back, everybody, to WDRB Media, the voice of the community. And for those of you who are streaming us live through our TuneIn Radio app and through our iHeartRadio app, you are listening to the MTB Radio Show. And I am your host, MTB. If you're just tuning in, we are discussing today about churches. Why do you or people that you know do not attend church? And so we're just dealing with churches for a little bit. And we started off in our first segment talking about we had got a comment from someone who said that they don't attend church because it was too much going on, too much mess going on. And they were taking their children to church, and the children were confused. They were confused. There's a lot of confusion going on in church. So let me just touch on another comment here that we have. Another comment says that I believe that people have this expectation that church is the one place where you should not experience hurt, gossip, and etc. Well, I agree with that. We do have that expectation. But let's be real. Somebody shared this with me a few years ago, and it stuck with me. People come to church, and we don't expect people to be people. We have to remember that even though we're in church, even though we're in a place of spiritual worship, and we have leaders and people who are there to guide us spiritually, we have to remember that they're human beings as well. You know, people hurt people. People let people down. People fail each other. But our idea of going to church, and just because someone has a title or a position in the church, we assume that they're not going to let us down. We put people up on a pedestal. And that's something that we have to correct within ourselves. We have to remember that these people are people just like us. You know, they have issues. They have faults. They have hurt. They have pain. They have lives outside of church. And sometimes things come about and we just let people down. So I have to let everybody know, you have to understand that it was a point in my life where I had to come to the point to where I had to seek God for myself. I still attend church. I still attended church at that particular time in my life because I needed the fellowship. I needed the leadership. I needed the guidance. I needed the spiritual connection with my brothers and my sisters. But I also understand that people are people. People are human beings. People let people down. So when people let you down, don't hold it against God. Don't hold it against the church per se. Hold it against the person, because the individual person has to own up to their faults. They have to own up to when they let you down or when they do something. Everybody has something that they have to answer for. But that's not to hold it against God. We can't hold that against the church overall and say, hey, the church is not right, or the church is this and the church is that because so-and-so did this. A lot of time, a lot of churches fall out of order. A lot of churches lose members. A lot of churches lose their credibility in the community because of one man or one woman has done something to let people down. Another one of our comments one of our listeners stated that a lot of people feel that the church is a money scam. And I agree with this. We've all heard this at some point in time. And my response to this particular person was that, hey, we hear this all the time, that church is a scam, that, it's too much money flowing through the church and people don't know where their money is going. My personal opinion, that is a issue for the leadership, because people should be comfortable. People should be able to trust that when they pay their tithes, when they give their offerings, people should be able to trust that this money is going to be recycled back into the community, that this money is going to be recycled back into the church and the needs of the church. My problem with this is that a lot of people are looking for something to pick at. Some people are nitpicking when it comes to money. Everybody has this excuse, well, I don't come to church because it's a money issue. It's not a money issue. According to scripture, we're obligated to give 10% of our earnings to the church. This is scripture based. This is why we do this, because if you go to any church and they got lights cost money. You go to any church and you go to the bathroom and they have running water. Running water costs money. You go to any church in the summertime and they have air conditioning, they have heat. In the wintertime, this costs money. These things are not given to us freely for these buildings that we gather together and worship in. So when I pay my tithes, when I pay my offering, I'm trusting that the leaders are going to take care of these responsibilities, these basic needs that we have when we come to these buildings. Watch this. The problem I have with people who come up with this, church is a scam about money and all this and that. When people go to the club, nobody asks where that money goes to. When people go to the car wash, nobody asks, hey, where's my money going? When people go to the grocery store, nobody asks, hey, where's my money going? When we're doing things that we enjoy for our entertainment, for our pleasure, when we just paying bills to Duke Power or whoever we paying bills to, Spectrum or whoever you pay for your cable services, when we paying bills to these people, we don't ask no questions. We don't ask questions to the cell phone company. Hey, where's my money going to? Break it down. Let me see exactly how much of my money is going to this and exactly how much of my money is going to that. We don't ask those type of questions. But when it comes to church, because people have been hurt so many times, people have been lied to so many times, and there's so many scandals and scams going on with people using the Lord's name, saying that, if you give this, the church is going to do that. If you give this, this is for the church. And people are taking this money, putting it in their pockets. They're seeing leaders living a lifestyle above, average lifestyle. And they're assuming that people are taking money from the church. They're assuming because one person took money from the church that all churches fall into this category. The church has received such a bad name based off the hands of a few dishonest people. And so what we have to do, what I feel is important for us, those who fellowship and those who go to church, it's very important for us to back our leaders. Is even more important. I'm challenging the leaders. It's important for us as leaders to do the right thing, to do right by the people, to do right by the money that's coming into the church from the tithes and the offering, to do right by those in the congregation who are faithfully serving God, faithfully giving their money, not to a man, but giving money because that is what's required for ministry to operate, for ministry to function properly. It's the responsibility of the leaders. I'm challenging every leader that can hear my voice. I'm challenging you to do right by your congregation, to do right by the finances of the church. I'm challenging the congregation to do right by your finances and giving to the church. Don't complain about the church is in a struggling state, or the church doesn't do this, or is unable to accommodate this if you're not doing your part. I understand being hurt. I understand being lied to. I understand that people have stolen in the past. I understand that you may have had a pastor or a bishop or somebody who was driving a Bentley and you driving a hoop. I understand all of that. And those things do cross my mind as well. But I trust God enough to know that he'll handle the situation. He'll reveal it. He'll reveal what to do. He'll reveal how to go about it. But when you're in a situation and you're in a church body and you're fellowshipping with people, thank God for a group of people who are real. Thank God for people who do right by God and do right by finance. Thank God for people who do right as being congregants and being faithful to the word. So thank God when you get in a situation where you can be faithful over a few things and he'll make you rule over many. Thank God for being in the congregation where people are trusting and doing what's right by God. Hey, listen, family, we're almost out of time today, but tune in with us next week because we will definitely be continuing our discussion on the church, on why people do not attend church the way that they used to. So please tune in with us. I thank everybody for tuning in with us today. I hope you continue to tune in with us next week, Friday at 11:30 a.m. Please remember you can contact me through social media. You can get at me at Facebook through at Minister T Breeze on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as Minister T Breeze. I'm also on Twitter and Minister Breeze Austin. So you can get at me through social media in any of those ways. If you like to be interviewed or if you just like to be on the show with some free advertisement, please contact me through Facebook, Instagram, through Twitter. Also, you can reach me at MTB Radio, WDRB at gmail.com. You've been listening to the MTB Radio Show, and now I'm your host, MTB, on WDRB Media, the voice of the community, for double the information and the inspiration. Until next week, I want everybody to stay blessed, and remember, this has been the realest 15 minutes of your week.
If I ever took a loss, I learned a lesson. I won't ever think I'm better than the next man. I've been down before the